Hello everyone, we are happy to welcome you to GISDAC 5-minute Sabbath School Summary. We are now at the lesson 5 of the first quarter with the title, The Wrath of Divine Love. Our first question for the summary is, what is the wrath of divine love? God's wrath is His holy and passionate response to sin. God's wrath is not based on arbitrary, uncontrollable, or vengeful initiative. Rather, it is always a loving, firm response against evil and injustice. His anger is a response to continuous and rebellious sin, which harms His creation. Divine wrath is another expression of His love, either to punish evil people for their sins or to deliver His people from their grasp. In the scripture, God's wrath is best understood in the context of its narrative as in Psalm 78. Despite all the signs and wonders performed by God, His people forgot Him, becoming stubborn and rebellious and having unrepentant hearts. For question number 2, why does God become wrathful? God's wrath is a loving and righteous indignation. In Scripture, we find a vivid description of God's wrath as a loving and righteous indignation against the oppression and suffering of His people. God actively intervenes to punish evil, given His righteous indignation, which is motivated by perfect goodness and love. His wrath is the prosperous response of love against evil, inasmuch as evil hurts His beloved creatures. Question number 3. What example in the Bible that shows that God's wrath is loving and righteous indignation? The Gospel's narrative about Jesus cleansing the temple provides a valuable example of how divine wrath should be understood as a righteous and responsible indignation, as opposed to a capricious and impulsive attitude on God's part. In the book of The Desire of Ages, Ellen G. White describes that many people in the temple are those who were suffering, those who were in want and distress. The blind, the lame, the deaf were there. Many came who were too poor to even purchase food and give offerings. But the priests did not have any sympathy or compassion to them, because their suffering awakened no pity in the hearts of the priests. In contrast to the priests, Jesus comes to the temple and sees the unfair transactions and the distress of the poor. As He beholds the scene, indignation, authority, and power are expressed in His countenance. As a conclusion, God's wrath is a loving and righteous indignation against the oppression and suffering of His people. Eventually, this divine indignation sets in motion a powerful deliverance of the people as a result of the judgment of the oppressors. Something to ponder for our life application. Taking into account God's responsible response to injustice and evil, how should we work to actively eliminate injustice or alleviate the suffering of others? Are you interested to learn more about God's love in your life? We invite you to come and join our Sabbath School discussion this Sabbath day to learn more about God's love. May God bless us all.